Hey, good morning. It is time for another Friday live stream, but today I am joining you from my house, which wouldn't be happening except I have had this cold all week and I don't want to get anybody sick. Just in case you don't know, next week we have I guess it's our biannual team collaboration for EnviroGuard in North Carolina. So all the distributors are coming here, and I don't want to be under the weather for them. I certainly don't want to get anybody sick this week that would cause them to be out of the office. So anyway, I'm at home right now handling this live stream. So the reason for today's live stream, and occasionally we're going to do things like this, is that it's always important to get back to the fundamentals. Some people would say the blocking and tackling, right? And sometimes as business owners or as business people, we kind of have to remind one another and help one another along. And that's one of the things that we love to do. So what I'm going to share with everybody today is what we call the perfect customer life cycle. And let me bring this up a little bit larger so that you can see it. And we're going to go through it. And at first, it's going to seem like, yeah, that's obvious. But there's a couple of things I want to mention. One, if you're not constantly checking what you're doing and then also weighing that against what your goals are, you may not be making the progress in the time that you want to make. So we're going to go through that. And the second thing is when you see something like generating interest, you might go, well, that's just marketing. We know that we need to market. Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into these sorts of things so that you can use this for yourself. And then I'm going to give you a tool at the end that we can send you or you can download so that maybe you can use this tool to improve your own business. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure I'm clicking on the right thing here. All right. So the first thing is generating interest. How are you gaining customer interest? Now, I'm going to take you through what we are doing and then goals that we have. And then I'm going to walk you through some of these questions so that you can use the tool that I'm going to show you at the end better in your own business. So currently, what we do to generate interest is that we have a combination of email campaigns. And recently, we have actually looked to curtail this. We're looking to do one email per week, but then to subsidize that with the next thing, which is social media posts. And I'm going to walk you through a practical example of this as well, because you want all of this stuff to be coordinated, right? If you're doing a weekly email campaign, then your social media posts should go back and reference that, and that what you might be doing in your email campaign you might want that to live on your website as blog content. So there's a lot to think about and talk about there. The other thing that we do to generate interest is, of course, things like this, the live stream. Right now, we're not always talking about like chemicals, right? But it is a way that we can also cultivate or work to cultivate relationships with our customers over time that leads to that interest. So it's also this periphery things that go into working in a common direction, if that makes sense. One of the other things that Tucker's been very involved in from when he arrived 10 months ago has been website SEO. Search engine optimization has been a priority for us. And you're going to see over on our goal side of things how that differs and is very similar to something else. And then we also started a Facebook group involvement. Sorry, I'm looking over my camera here. We started a Facebook group and we look to generate interest through Facebook group involvement. And then finally, our training classes. Last year, we worked really hard to get our first live training class in place. However, as we go along, we can imagine from one service to the next, obviously that's going to generate interest. There's going to be a lot of things that you do to generate interest. You might be running continuing education credits with real estate agents and property managers and things of that nature. And what I would say is, if you need somebody to bounce this stuff off of, that's kind of what we're here for, right? We want to be involved in your business and to work with you, because sometimes this is going to translate into your services and being more profitable in your services and things. So, we're, of course, here to work with you so that if you have questions about how to put a perfect customer life cycle to work in your business, let us know. We're happy to help you out. Okay, so on the goals side of things, the first goal that we have is an SMS campaign. So instead of sending out more emails regularly, it would make a lot of sense, because people are busy, to send a weekly SMS for something maybe directly related to the email campaign, because you might want to read an article about the perfect customer life cycle or some of the other stuff that we've got coming up, and maybe you don't check your email as much. So an SMS campaign makes a lot of sense. We want to work on Google rankings for our brand. So I said that website optimization was important, and we're making great progress there, but maybe not for the EnviroGuard brand itself, right? So now we're looking to add to our plate a goal of increasing our ranking for our brand alone. The next thing is channel partners, having relationships out there that aren't like that are complementary to what we do, right? They're working in a common direction, but maybe they're parallel to what we do in the industry. A recent one that we have come across and we're working in parallel directions is restoration guides, right? You've seen it on a couple of these. We stumbled upon this relationship, and we really think that restoration guides is a great parallel relationship, because they're talking to the same types of customers that we're talking to. We're obviously not competitive, and what we do can complement the other group. You may find very similar things in what you do, where there might be a mold. Let's just say we're talking about the mold side of the business, and you do remediation, but you don't do inspections and assessments. Well, that might be a parallel to what you do. Let's also say that you want relationships with pest control companies who are seeing moisture problems every day, and there are local pest control companies that aren't willing or don't do any mold services. That might be a great channel partner for you. The next thing is backlinks from partners. As we progress in our branding, as we progress in our systems and services and things of that nature, we're going to be looking for partnerships where backlinks can complement and affect our search engine optimization and our brand overall. And our partners should be looking for the same thing from us, right? So backlinks from partners are a powerful way to increase search engine optimization. And then co-branding with network partners. I'm not talking about like labels on buckets and things of that nature. Typically, that's what people think about, right? But co-branding can be those cooperative branding opportunities where a network partner, so for example, we work with a lot of different franchises. We just signed a deal with Bimax. We work with AdvantaClean quite a bit, with PuroClean quite a bit. All of those opportunities where co-branding exists with network partners could be a great opportunity with you. The brands are going to differ from your perspective, but think about how co-branding can go a long way into helping your partner or your network partner develop their brand as well as you. And then finally, webinars. For us, that's with product support and training. But for you, there may be value-added webinars that you can do that are a direct reflection of your product. Think about your services, not just your remediation services, but those complementary services, not giveaways, not free services, services that complement your core services that you can take the time to educate people about. That might be in the form of like odor mitigation services. One of the things that we're seeing a lot of upcoming is what you might term exterior restoration services, but are more like curb appeal services and things of that nature. We'll talk more about that type of thing later on. Okay, the next step is in capturing leads. So in this, you're thinking, okay, so lead capture, how are we doing that? Is it happening through your website? Well, that's not exactly what we mean. What we mean is, what is the magnet that's leading to lead capture, okay? So for us, we've got sales and operations courses, right? Well, how does that help us with lead capture? Well, sure, we could go out there and say that there's this place on our website that we have for capturing leads, and then that comes back into our CRM, and then there's that's a sales ready lead, and then there's maybe telephone follow up from there. Again, that's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about that thing that sparks interest in your customer's mind that leads to the lead capture, right? So it's sales and operations courses, sales support tools, manufacturing technical support. In other words, one of the things that we found that a lot of companies who compete with us don't do very well is they can't jump on the phone like at a glance and be like, hey, here, you have a question about how our product works or the best way to use a product. We do that really well, and we do that all day long. We saw that as a competitive difference, and our customers have, fed that back to us. That's a competitive difference between us and others. So that's a magnet that we want to use, or that we do use for differentiating ourselves. And then our consulting services, this idea that, you might be in, primarily mold remediation right now, but you may not be getting the traction that you're looking to get with some of those partners or those partnerships that you're looking for. So look at ways that you can create value, and then therefore a magnet that leads to lead capture. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go into a couple that are goals, and perhaps it'll make even more sense, because this one can be tricky, right? So another one for us could be things like Facebook shopping. Like, people can go to our website right now and order, but we notice that especially in the contracting industry, a lot of people spend their time on Facebook, whether it be in Facebook groups that are industry specific or whatever it might be. Now, that probably also is an age demographic thing, right? So when it comes to contractors, that 35 to 65 year range is really popular on Facebook. Your demographic may be very similar, because you might be trying to get in contact with real estate agents, property managers, all of these, builders and things of that nature, where your demographic is very similar to ours. Therefore, you might want your magnets to also include something that's Facebook oriented. Let's look at the next one here. Expanding training courses for customer sales diversity and targeting, like odor and exterior restoration services. So this kind of has two components to it, right? We want that training in there, because we've noticed that sales and operations training are kind of two sides of the same coin that are really important to our customers for launching these new services that then create this diversity or difference from your competition, their competition, but that are very targeted at specific needs that we have noticed over time. Again, what is that magnet that is leading to lead capture is really the question here. Okay, the next step is educating and building trust. How is your customer raising their hand, right? So you might, in a sales presentation or in some sort of a meeting, you are looking to educate and build trust with that customer. However, how do you know when that customer is saying, I'm interested? Okay, so for us, that takes place a couple different ways. In our email campaigns, we have what are called Zoho CRM signals. We see when people not only open emails, but when they click and things of that nature. That would tell you pretty well, okay, well, they are, pretty interested, or at least have interest in very specific areas that's worth following up on. Email replies. A lot of times from our email campaigns, people will email us back and specifically say that they're interested. So obviously that is the way that our customer or potential customer is raising their hand. You should look for something similar. So if you have an email campaign going out, then you probably already have those email replies going on, and that's a given, right? That is obviously a customer saying, yes, we're interested. The other thing is social media engagement. So from that engagement, you automatically know that your potential customer is saying, we have interest in what it is that you offer. Private Facebook community, right? We have a private Facebook community, because that tells you that beyond just maybe your corporate page, that people are interested in working more closely with you. So that becomes that next layer of involvement and relationship and rapport that you're looking to build. And then, of course, things like this, live stream engagement. If you're getting engagement on something like a live stream, or that could say webinar engagement or anything like that, then you would know specifically that customer is raising their hand. Okay, so let's look at some goals then. Some goals that we would have is training requests, right? We want to get more active on that sales and operations training, so that if we see more people begin to request training, that would be them raising their hand, that we have done our part, excuse me, in educating and building trust with that customer or potential customer. Sales support requests. We want to be about building more and better sales support materials. So if customers are asking us to build print collateral, presentations, videos, things of that nature, then that tells us that it's working, and that also tells us that they're raising their hand and that we ought to be following up. The next thing is newsletter requests. If people are requesting more information that's maybe more driven at the technical aspect of your business, or from your website, you see people joining your newsletter through your website, then that is obviously your potential customer raising their hand. Okay, the next step is convert. What is your selling model? Now, for us, it's very easy. Our selling model is one-on-one sales, right? We are always looking to be better consultants with our customer, and this takes place 3 different ways: by phone and our Keep in Touch program. They're kind of the same, because our Keep in Touch program is all about regular outreach, right? Whereas the phone, that could be also our customer calling us or something and looking for that one-on-one support and those sorts of things. Either way, the phone is one of the ways through one-on-one involvement that sales take place. Email is another way. We get plenty of emails. Our distributors get plenty of emails where selling takes place. Oftentimes, and that leads to a phone conversation and those sorts of things to follow up and make sure we get it right. But nevertheless, it's not unusual for an inbound email to happen. And then texting. I can tell you, when I was on just the sales side of our business, I did a lot more texting then because I realized that our customers are really busy, probably like your customers. And that one-on-one text message to your customer could be the difference, a big difference maker if you're not already doing it. So think about how you can employ texting into your business, and that might then transcend just one-on-one text over to what would be an SMS type of campaign for you that are still personal. And you're still able to interact, but nevertheless, it lets you execute that a little more seamlessly, and a little more mass, if you will. So goals that we have, we don't really have any goals. And I think that's okay, right? There may be areas of your business where you say, this business right now, we're not sure what a goal would be for us for our selling model, because this isn't like processing the sale. This is what is our selling model in terms of our interaction with the customer to make sure that they're getting what they need to commit to buying our product. So you would want to think about that maybe exactly the same way. Then the next step becomes processing the sale, right? For us, that is specifically through the website or by phone. There's not really other ways that people right now are processing sales. They're either going to our website or they are picking up the phone and calling us. And again, this is how you get paid, and also what do you upsell, right? So let me go over to our goal side of things, and you can kind of see what we're talking about here. So obviously, right now we're just doing the website, but then as we spoke, or I spoke about before, we're looking to also have that Facebook to website integration so that we can sell through Facebook as well. We would also like an Instagram to website integration. Let me go back there and finish that up. So just think about, how is it that you get paid by your customer? Okay, you might have a different way of doing that. But again, it's important that you go through this exercise in detail. How is it that we're currently processing our sales, or how do we currently get paid? And then what do we want to upsell along the way? I'm not going to go big time into upsell right now because I want to kind of save that, though we could. Okay, then how are you fulfilling and wowing your customers? So what do you do for your customer after the sale to increase their confidence? Well, first of all, when somebody's a customer of ours, we want them to be on a Keep in Touch program. And honestly, the Keep in Touch program can be a struggle, right? Because not everybody's available by phone. We notice that ourselves. We can call and leave a message, and people don't always call you back. And you kind of wonder to yourself, well, is it making a difference? We hope it is, right? The more relationship we have between our people, whether it be on the marketing team, the sales team, or distributors, and then with you individually, the more traction we get there, and the more people go, oh, it's coming from an 828 area code. We need to be picking that up. So this might be something that you need to commit to and spend some time in. But we find that a monthly keep in touch program is really valuable. And it might be valuable for you and for your customers as well, at least to make sure that you do have that that touch with your customer. Teachable online training. For us, that's a unique resource, right? We have a 7 to 9 minute step-by-step video series that people can go into and get training to help maybe complement what they do internally right now. In some cases, we look at that as, hey, that could really help the operations side of a company onboard people as they have turnover and that sort of thing. So those areas, again, that are they complement your business, they help your customer, they maybe help save time for your customer, headaches, things of that nature. So think about what things can help fulfill and wow your customer. Zoho Docs. When someone becomes a customer, we want to invite them to our Zoho Docs system so that they have access 24/7 to their to technical documents or training documents and videos or sales and marketing oriented documents, things of that nature. So think about that for yourself. Is there something that you could be doing that's more automated, right? That you have the systems for already, but that you could use to share information more freely with your customer. That's kind of like Google Docs, right? Zoho Docs for us is like Google Docs. Sales and operations training. I keep coming back to this, but this is kind of a crux of where we're going as a company. We want to help people shore up the sales side and the operations side of their business, and we want to do that at an increasing rate per service. Facebook community is also a way to fulfill and wow. Why? Because it gets us more entrenched in better contact in a casual setting with our customers as well, where you're not in the same formalities. You're talking about solutions now that you have maybe created some advocacy in your products. And then consulting services. We want to always, one of the things that we want to do is not become better salespeople, so to speak. We want to become better consultants. Why? Because we're all about problem solving. And I would suggest that you're in the same boat. You want to be better problem solvers for your customers and know their business better so that you're out in front thinking for them so that they need more of your services or maybe come to realize that they need more of your services. So then goals, and again, you can draw a parallel with us. Well, rather than always relying upon Zoho Docs, which requires an invitation and things of that nature, we would like to have downloadable sales support on the print, video, presentation side of things on our website, right? So that's kind of the next phase of what we're moving toward. We also want to have, we want to grow our sales and operations training modules, and we want to duplicate that through our distributor network so that is available much closer to every one of our customers. So in Chicago, I always call it, New York, even though it's Northern Jersey, but people know where New York is, right? North Jersey, New York, Washington, D.C., Winston-Salem, North Carolina, New Orleans, Louisiana, and of course our newest center near Memphis, Tennessee, right? Everybody who's, in, let's say, an hour to 2 hour window of that, we want them to be able to go and get the sales and operations training that they need for a half a day, and it to not take much time out of their schedules on a predictable cycle. For you, that might be a lot like continuing education, right? And then we want to grow our consulting business. We want people to reliably be able to say at a moment's notice, hey, we are moving from remediation into moisture controls. Not only do we need to know how to use it, we need to know how to price it. We need to know what tools like what film thickness gauges and things like that we can use to grow that business so good quality control. And we want to make sure that we've got the marketing and everything in place to do that, right? So we want to grow our consulting business, and you may want to consider what the consulting side of your business looks like to your customers. And then we want to grow our Facebook community. Again, that's that casual interaction type of thing where if you have the ability to start a Facebook community or the desire to start a Facebook community and get your customers' involvement in that, where you can learn, where you can grow with that Facebook community and really become a value add to them over time, that's a great way to do it. There's other social media as well for that, right? But we're just talking about one in this case. And then we're working on a manufacturer certification with continuing education course. So again, this kind of parallels also what you might be thinking of, but we want to have a manufacturer certification that is automated, that's tied back into our teachable system, and that has good continuing education, which is why you hear me talking about our sales and operations training, right? All that becomes tied together and over time becomes that manufacturer certification that our customers have asked us for. So listen, maybe a good point here. Listen to what your customers are asking for and use that information to go back into these areas and put these goals together for your company and make it known throughout your company. This, by the way, is becoming a baseline by which we do all of our planning internally and then externally as well. So then finally, the upsell. How are you constantly generating new sales opportunities with your current customers? And let me take this out. Okay. So how are you constantly generating new sales opportunities with your current customers? Well, one of the things that we're doing is consulting, right? We're moving from existing service. We're helping our customers from their existing services to services that complement existing services and match sales targets. So a customer might say to us, hey, we've got good margin in our mold remediation and water mitigation services. But what happens is certain times of the year that slows down and we're looking for other services that can be add-ons or that can be core services that are more popular during winter or, you name it, right? Then that is our job. Then that's what is, raising hand and tells us where we need to focus on being a better supplier to our customers. And again, you're going to look for those other opportunities where there are upsell opportunities with your customers, but you may only be selling the big three, water, mold, fire right now, and you might be looking for those add-on services. Well, if so, we're your people to help you do that. And likewise, you're going to be the people for your customers to help them accomplish their goals, right? Monthly promotions, right? We recently brought on the Dutreon line. Well, at first, it's an uphill battle when you bring on a new service, in our case, a new product. And what you want to do is maybe tie that to a monthly promotion. So like this month, we're running a promotion where when you buy 14, 28, or 42 of anything from our core line, right, then you're going to get a 15, 20, or 25% discount. So what you might want to think about is as you are going from your own core line right now to new services, initially, you want to get your customer engaged in that service, but they're not used to using you for that service. So instead of being always worried about that, high margin right away, you have to change buying habits, right? If they're not doing odor mitigation services with you right now, then offer them a special to get them engaged in those odor mitigation services with you. And then later on, you can return to a higher margin once they love that service from you. Does that make some sense? I hope so. Email education. If you are looking to upsell, email can be a great platform to do that. Yes, people are getting emails all the time, but this should be just a core part of your service that is then tied back into your social media and all those sorts of things. Website-related items. Website-related items. Let me go through that to make sure I understand myself okay. This is where we are looking to always have complementary items. So like, for example, for us, if somebody buys OxyPrep, well, then they would want to buy probably OxyPar as well. They probably also want to buy some Dutreon disinfectant, and they probably might need something for moisture control, like MaxGuard, right? So you might want to think about what are those things that are a direct complement to the other. Let me give you an example. If you're selling odor mitigation services, as that's your new core line item, but maybe you also are selling carpet cleaning services. I'll just use those two as an example. Well, oftentimes, if it's bad enough, you're going to need to do carpet cleaning to complement your odor mitigation services, because when you have a soft surface, that's what harbors those odors, right? So then make sure that you have the complementary services to go along with core line services that you're really focused on. They may be all core line, but just know in what order those all fit together to complement one another, and then look at moving your customer from, hey, we're coming in to do odor mitigation, but from what we can tell in our initial evaluation, you're also going to need to do carpet cleaning. And by the way, when you pair those together, when you bundle those, you get a better price overall, right? So it can encourage your customer to buy more service from you at the same time. Training classes. Training classes are big for us. That is another way that we move a customer along a continuum because it helps them get into new services. And likewise, those continuing education / training classes for you where customers are learning more about the problems that they face. It's giving them continuing education at the same time, may be a great way. I will tell you right now, one of the best networks that I ever saw this done in, and whether you're an independent or a competitor to this brand, it doesn't matter. I understand what I'm trying to say here that hopefully will help you. The PuroClean organization does a tremendous job in continuing education. It is part of what they reward people for, or what they recognize people for at their annual convention. So think about how deeply involved you are in continuing education. It's a tremendous way to create relationship and rapport with your customer and add value to their business. And then again, I'll return to the Keep in Touch. Our Keep in Touch program is actually what allows us to upsell, because let's say right now we're not selling PPE, but we will be selling PPE. And when we do, what better way could we introduce that to our customer than in that one-on-one interaction that folks are used to hearing from us on, right? That telephone conversation where we say, hey, now we do offer personal protection equipment, and here's why and how we're doing it. So think about that in terms of maybe a Keep in Touch program with you and how you can use that to create rapport over time, so that as you do offer new services, now your customer's so used to hearing from you on a monthly basis that when you add that new odor mitigation service or that exterior restoration service, they're interested because they've got rapport. Finally, let me go over to goals. Sorry. We already have live chat, but we want to use our live chat for upsell opportunities as well. We want our SMS to become that complement to everything else that we're doing, so that as we add new products and things, that SMS is one of those ways that we convey that information directly back then to our website, where people would be able to buy like PPE, like I was just telling you about. And then we would like to begin getting a little more automated in our email campaigns. There's always a lot that you can do with automations on the backside of like your CRM and things of that nature. We happen to love and use Zoho for that, but you can always get better at those things where as long as it's not taking away from that personal connection that you have, automations are great. So that's kind of the dividing point for us. It's like if technology ever impairs a high touch relationship where the customer knows that you care about their business, then you shouldn't be doing it. But if it doesn't, if it's just automations for the sake of becoming more efficient in your business, then you should add automations in that case. And then Facebook group collaboration. We see a day coming where not only do we have a great Facebook group going on, but the collaboration that's going on within that Facebook group where our customers are helping other customers, right, is what our goal is for that Facebook group. Now let's talk about creating advocates. This is how do you get existing customers to send you new customers? We only have 3 ways right now, but there are probably a lot of different ways that you can do this. First of all, for us, this is our Facebook group, right? This is a way where a customer could say to us, hey, I've got this friend over in Montana or in Idaho or in Illinois or whatever the case may be, who would love your product and already talked to them about it. Reach out to them. That happens occasionally, right? Not as much as the next one, which is referral requests, where we would then ask our customer, hey, I know that you love the React Extract system, for example. Do you have anybody who you could recommend us to who would also love it in their business, right? And then, of course, network partners. This is like for us, like franchises or networks that we are involved with. Let me mention another. 58 Foundations is a network group that we are involved with, and so we may be working with their Atlanta, Georgia location, but we may want to work with a new location that they have coming up in Indianapolis, and then asking for a referral to who we could work with there would be a great way to build business. You probably have bigger, more localized and regional networks than we have the opportunity to have many times. So this is a great thing that you should always be doing, is looking to create advocates for your business. And you probably have a lot of other ways to do it. So goals for us, and again, the importance is the tool itself, that you're doing all of these 8 steps consistently and reevaluating them, is we're looking to get involved with specifications, industrial hygienists and mold inspectors who are actually specifying our products for use on jobs would be a huge win. We've got a little bit of that right now, but not nearly as much as we want to have going forward. And we know that we have the products. So you might realize also that, man, we've got the services to crush the competition, but that needs to be a goal for you. We know that we've got the products to crush the competition. We just have to get more involved in these relationships as we go forward. Google reviews, something that we do sparingly, right? We're not as good at it as we should be, but Google reviews should be something that we're looking to really push forward on. For your business, it's even more important than for our business. Then website testimonials. That's very different from a Google review, right? This is where you're getting a testimonial, and then you have this testimonial maybe flashing, or these testimonials repeating on the homepage of your website. Or if you have specific services that testimonial is geared toward, then you might, when people go to that webpage to learn more about your services, have testimonials specifically geared to those services, right? So always working toward testimonials is something that we are working harder on, but something that we should all be working harder on. And then user videos. For us, a user video would be somebody out in the field saying, hey, we use OxyPrep, or we use X4 for this, and look how great it works. For you, it might be that user video where a property manager or real estate agent just had a great experience with you, and there's no better way to articulate that than to grab a video, and rather than just getting the testimonial, which you should get, right, a written testimonial, get that user video that you can put up on your YouTube channel that is embedded in your website, maybe onto a page having to do with that exact service, right? And then finally, channel partners. Again, these are those complementary partners that you are working with, where they are sending you new customers and you are sending and reciprocating to them new customers, right? And again, I will go back and say that Restoration Guides is one of those channel partners that we're looking forward to doing business with, in that channel partner relationship, right? They're parallel to us, not competitive to us, but our customer is their customer. Okay, so look for those opportunities. So finally, this is what the perfect customer lifecycle sheet looks like, and it mentions all these sorts of things where you can go through and document what you're currently doing in spreadsheet form, and then you can go and list the goals that you have as well. So if you have an interest, if you would like to go ahead and get the sheet so that you can make this maybe a part of your next meeting with your staff, and make this kind of an intrinsic part of what you not only do and document as what you're currently doing, but use to set goals with in the future, let us know. Email Tucker, and Tucker, if you would throw up an email address where they can get in touch with you, and we can send this spreadsheet out to everybody who's interested. Email us. Let us know that you would like the perfect customer lifecycle sheet. We will gladly share this with you. And again, if you have questions about this, or if you just want to go through this and just bounce this off of somebody who's been down this road before, that's what we're here for, right? We are here to be helpful as a supplier to you. So thanks a lot for joining today's live stream, everybody. If you do have questions, if you have anything that you need, mold season's heating up, we've got specials and things like that going on. We've got a lot of support, upcoming classes. for you to be involved with. I'm committing to you right now, we are going to do a class in Boone, North Carolina. Let us get through next week with the distributors being here, but we are going to do a sales and operations class at our headquarters in Boone, North Carolina. So look for that in an upcoming announcement. Mark, I know up there in Southwest Virginia, you guys have committed to coming down and spending a day with us. So we're going to do that. And email us. Let us know if you would like to be a part of a class at our headquarters and really go hands-on with a good sales and operations training course. We'd love to hear from you. I know that's a lot of stuff at the very end, promotions and consulting and training classes. Oh my. But again, you're looking to be more involved with your customers. We're looking to be more involved with you. Thanks for joining our live stream today, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.